Hey up, Mosh! It's your boy Ian! Back by popular demand, and the next topic of this video is going to be
online porn industry.
Into porn and
Porn.
do porn. It was
Pornography.
Pornography.
pornography. Or, as people say in Scotland, a big, dirty, stinking porno. Whatever you like to call it. We've all seen it, and a lot of people do like to watch it now and again. The WHO have included compulsive sexual behaviour disorder into their new international classification of diseases manual, and most porn users regard it as a solution to their boredom, loneliness, stress, and even sexual frustration, understandably. But in this video, I'm going to break down how porn affects your brain, your psychology, your social interactions, and even your dating life. But if you think that all of these issues are actually really good for your life, you go ahead, go about your day, go back to your sexual frustration, because this video is not for you. This video is for those people who want to quit porn, who want to get rid of these little inklings that are holding them back in their life to really fulfilling a happy life. So, if you want to stick around and learn the 5 solutions I'm going to give to you on how to overcome porn, stick around because we're going into it now.
Because it's got this camera knocking, and it's time I started packing, because it won't be long before I'm dead.
You might be sat there wondering like, but Ian, I'm not addicted to porn. You can't be addicted to porn. Porn is good for you. No? Try going a month without watching porn. Try masturbating without the use of porn. Do you still have a full erection? Can you go the full month without any urges, without any problems with your sleep or whatnot? Some of the side effects that porn has on us humans are delayed ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, lack of attraction to real partners, social anxiety, depression, apathy, severe concentration problems, performance anxiety, lack of motivation, and the list goes on. Everything within those side effects just listed there are pretty much everything that I had when I was watching porn. I had almost no real intention to speak to a woman. I had almost no motivation to find a female companion to spend time with, because there's so many issues with it. Like porn, you will not be rejected. You have multiple options, so you're not just stuck with the same one girl. That I could get one. But one of the big things for me was a lack of attraction to real partners. Even at one point in my life, I had convinced myself that I was asexual. Because when you're asexual, you can't get rejected. You can save your ego because can't get rejected if you don't like women. But it's not just me, there's millions of people, millions of men around the world from every background, every race, every culture who's got access to porn has similar issues. Terry Crews, one of the epitomes of masculinity, even struggled with this, as we'll see now.
My issue was, and is, with pornography, is that it changes the way you think about people. People become objects. People become, body parts. They become things to be used rather than people to be loved. And it really, you start to change the way you see people, and you start to use people. You start to feel like, you're the man and they're just, whatever. So, some people deny. They say, hey man, you can't really be addicted to pornography. There's no way. But I'm going to tell you something. If day turns into night and you are still watching, you probably got a problem. And that was me. And, it was something that, you know, my wife was literally like, I don't know you anymore. I'm out of here.
Terry's experience of porn is nothing new to the world, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to it. And it even links to a 2007 study which showed that, and I quote, "The mere exposure to numerous sexualized images of women can cause a man to devalue his real-life partner. After porn consumption, both sexes report less satisfaction with their intimate partner." The Coolidge effect shows that men will generally tire of the same female after mating with them numerous times. However, if they're given a new female, their sex drive will spike back up.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
No matter how much you can try and convince yourself that we are not animals, the reality is that we are still very primitive. We have very animalistic desires. We need to eat and we need to reproduce. That's basically the two main functions our brain's got going on in there. When we see high calorie food, high fat food, our body goes, give me that food, that donut. And when we see like a borderline sexualized female, our body instantly kicks in a bit of dopamine. It's like, go get it, go get it. The book goes on to say, primitive circuits within the brain govern emotions, drives, impulses, and subconscious decision making. They do their job so efficiently that evolution hasn't seen the need to change them much since humans were humans. The desire and motivation to pursue sex arises largely from the neurochemical dopamine. Although dopamine is actually referred to as the pleasure chemical, it's actually not entirely true. Dopamine is a seeking and searching molecule. Opioids is the reward, it is the liking, it is the pleasure molecule. So you could see as dopamine is more of the motivation, the get up and go, whereas opioids is the actual pleasure chemical. Dopamine causes us to want, desire, seek out. But our dopamine system is actually much stronger than our opioid system. So we want more than we actually are satisfied with. So delta force B is the body's way of wiring together the brain cells that fire together, and it wasn't designed to make addicts. It's used to urge us animals to get it whilst the going gets good. Now if delta force B is a driving motion within our reward circuitry, Krebs is the brakes. Krebs dampens our pleasure response within our circuit rewards. It is used within our evolutionary biology to stop us from being addicted to things. Within human history, we never had an abundance of really anything. Like, if you ran out of steak pies, there was no Greggs back in the day. If you ran out of, well, there was no porn back in the day, and there was no real buffets, so you couldn't really be addicted to high fatty, high sugary foods because you would eventually run out. Krebs is designed in order to keep us going and not being overstimulated in one thing, because if we only focus on sex, we'll probably starve ourselves to death. We'll probably not make the social connections that we need to. So Krebs is reducing the effects of the opioids, the happiness that you receive from achieving what you wanted from the dopamine. Krebs' effects of desensitization leaves us feeling bored, less satisfied, and more in like a derp state. Just like you see people walking in the streets with kind of like, you kind of just see life just drained out of them. And this is a common effect of porn. People who just, we're not truly present, we're not looking at the trees, like smelling the flowers, looking at the people, interacting with the environment. We're just mentally drained, chemically, neurologically, chemically drained. Just like, and it's a sad, sad thing to see. Sad. And you know what? Krebs doesn't stand much of a chance in our super stimulated environment. Like, it has no chance against. So Krebs versus the Big Mac, chips, and a litre of Coke, followed by 2 hours of Call of Duty, Warzone, and 3 hours of an iron fist grip of Pornhub. It has no chance. These supernormal versions of natural rewards change your brain so much that we can actually start to believe, and I know this happened with me on a subconscious level, and it happens with many people, that we start to associate our phone with actual sexual reproduction. And we kind of lose our ability to interact with the opposite sex. Terry Crews talks about it here.
When I say toxic, but understand, like when I say when because you think I'm at the strip club, it's natural. But what's happened? This is what I said at the women's conference. What happens is you see the girl and she's doing her thing, but then she starts talking, and you're like, "Why are you talking? Shh!" Like you're ruining it. And don't talk about your bills or your kids or your hey, shut up. You know why? Because she's becoming a human. The realization is that you are in love with an image. You are in love with something that's not real. But once they start talking, and it's like, why is this irritating? See, the problem is, and this is the thing, men got mad at me. Men got mad at me because I pulled it out there. But the thing is, I said, when men are like that, even with porn or with strip club or anything like that, women aren't all the way human. This is what I mean. They're only like 3/5 human. Yeah. Because you know, as long as you just stay smiling, because it's the fakest smile you've ever seen. Yeah. But you don't care. Just fake smile, fake it, and do what you do. But the thing is that when somebody's not human, you can do anything you want to them.
It's a fantasy.
Yeah,
you can do
the same way with slavery. You know, they dehumanize them.
3/5 human.
You know, they're not human. This is not pain. This doesn't hurt them. And that's how we look
they
at
can be
women
chained
like
up in the cold, no problem.
And yeah, some women, people do look at women like that.
And listen,
watching a porn, a cuck, if you may, he's not actually engaging in the sexual fantasies himself. He's dehumanized. He's disassociated the link of the sexual person, the sexualized image of a person, with the human being itself. So when he's engaged in social interactions, social anxiety just creeps in. It's just like, shh. What the fuck are you doing? This girl machine is this girl machine's broken. Just output sex. Just output sexually stimulated arousal. What is this? Emotions? This girl machine's broke. And obviously we can see how this can really affect people in their day-to-day interactions, because what we see online and what reality is two very different things. And if you are growing up watching porn, thinking that this is how the world works, you are in for a big shock. This is going to lead people down a deep, dark path, because when we go out and actually try to interact with women through the logical way of attracting women, what we've learned through pornography, they're going to get a hard kickback. Like, no, me and my girls are just going to go get a drink, and bye. It's going to be a hard rejection. And they'll just go back to porn. It'll probably lead them down a deeper, darker route of porn. And this is where things such as incels come from. Because why would you go out there and learn how to speak to girls when you could just wank to multiple different girls whenever you want, no effort required, and 100% rewards. Now the reality is that you actually know deep down in the back of your brain, at the bottom of your ego, a place where even your ego can't even convince you that you're asexual or whatever. You really want to take ownership of your life. You want to be the hero. You want to be the man that you see on TV who's not scared of female interaction. You want to be that porn star who just goes in, the plumber, goes in and gets a girl. You don't want to be the cook in the corner of a room just like, yeah. Because it's fucking weird. It's weird, bro. It's weird. And you're walking around the streets like in a derp state because your brain is chemically drained from overstimulation of dopamine, CIB, and opioids. So once we detach ourselves from the belief that porn is actually benefiting us, and when we realize how much it's damaging us, we can really let go. We can really make moves and steps into becoming the person that we want to be. Less procrastination, more interactions with real humans, and more happiness. And it might even leave you feeling just like this when you quit porn. With our pleasure slowly being dimmed, the addiction process can lead people into watching more extreme versions of porn. Porn used to be stimulating for us, now appear confusingly unexciting. One danger is that the body doesn't actually understand the difference between anxiety and sexual stimulation. So when people are watching pornography, they can often watch things that aren't actually sexually stimulating for them. It's actually anxiety producing. And the new pathways created in the brain can lead to us misinterpreting anxiety for sexual stimulation. So this is where people start watching bestiality and really like weird porn fetishes. It's fairly common for heterosexual males to watch transgender porn. Even for homosexuals to watch straight porn, it's not the sexual stimulation they like, it's the anxiety produced, where the brain has confused the anxiety for sexual stimulation. And this can continue to get worse with even more disturbing porn fetishes developing later on. You've got to remember that humans have not evolved watching porn. Our brain does not know what porn is. So when we have a quickening pulse, clammy skin, a boost of adrenaline, our body can misinterpret that for sexual arousal. So the goal now is to reawaken your appetite for interacting with real people without a screen in front of you, without you being to awaken your appetite for love and life again. Now, if you want to live a life free of porn where you're not watching fucked up shit and you're not walking around like a derp state where you can't even interact with normal human beings, or you'd actually really like to deepen your connection with your girlfriend, I have 5 ways of overcoming porn that I can help you with. And we'll get into it right now. And number 1, remove all porn. This means removing all porn from your phone, your computer, wherever it is. Change your furniture around because, as I said before, Delta Force B links behaviours with your environment. If you have your room set out in a certain way, move the furniture around so your brain can no longer link that environment to that behaviour of masturbating. And also, get a porn blocker and an ad blocker. You don't want porn anywhere near you. You don't want adverts and you don't want the temptation of having porn on your computer. Number 2, this is something that I did whenever I have or do have urges to use pornography. Cold showers are really good for your health anyway. It helps build up the prefrontal cortex, but we can get into this in another video. Drop me a comment in the comments below if you want to hear the benefits of cold showers. But as I was saying, you will not be able to have an erection with a cold shower. So any urges to watch pornography? Cold shower, baby. Cold shower. Watch that boy shrivel up. Number 3, make sure you get outside for at least 20 minutes a day. And if you do have any urges, go outside because, I mean, you won't be masturbating and watching porn in public. And also, another added bonus of getting outside is that you can re-energize your body. You can re-energize the electrons in your body by getting into nature. It reduces anxiety, reduces stress. Number 4. Meditation. Meditation is key. Meditation helps me so much in many aspects of my life. It helps you understand your feelings. So when you have negative feelings come about, you can actually take a step back, not identify with your emotions and feelings. You can watch your feelings, understand where those feelings have come from, what has stimulated these feelings. Why do you want to watch porn? What's craving you? What's making you feel like you need to watch porn? Is it loneliness? Is it a certain environment? Are you feeling socially anxious? Are you feeling like you're not being loved? Meditation will help you find out the root of your emotions, and once you find these roots, you can start making plans and actions to combating root emotions that are making you watch porn. And number 5, possibly the most important, but the hardest, socializing. When I first started to socialize, I struggled so hard because I didn't know how to socialize. I didn't know how to speak to people, and I definitely did not know how to speak to women. So socializing was so hard. But quitting porn, it really gives you an incentive to get out there, face rejection, face your social anxiety, face your depression. And all of these, I struggled so hard. I remember when I first started going out there, it broke me. There was nights where I'd been rejected from people, God, maybe 20 times. And it wasn't even I was trying to find a partner, I was just trying to socialize. I would go out there and I'd get, boom, shut down. When quitting porn initially 3 years ago, it took me, I think, about 6 months to really succeed at it. I failed at it for about 6 months. I'd try, and then a trigger or something would spark the temptation to watch porn again. This could be like an Instagram thought, a basic bitch, posting the same photos on overly sexualized photos on Instagram. So what I've done is that I've took notice of everywhere I've failed, and then I just eliminate it. So people who post overly sexualized content with no real benefit or contribution to society, I just mute them. Can't see them. They have no worth on my timeline. When you quit porn, overwhelming emotions can come out of nowhere, and these can really make you go back into porn, because that's a safe zone. It's just like, you know where you are, you know how you feel, but when you stop porn, you're gonna have quite high emotional states. So when I quit, I felt quite angry and I felt quite tense. So what helps with me is meditating and listening to stoicism, listening to stoic videos, and just trying to adopt a stoic life, so I can transmute those emotions into something beneficial, in putting them into a project, putting them into the gym, putting them into socializing and whatnot. But these high emotions can really send you back into porn if you're not careful. Another aspect of quitting porn is that you're going to have intense dreams. For me, the dreams were beautiful. It was like so good. Like the dreams became so intense. That is it's a clear sign of the brain declogging, right? Declogging the overstimulus. But for some people, this can be hugely traumatic. People with OCD tendencies will find this a little bit harder than most people. This is because we assign significance to things where there is no significance. And really, those people who suffer from OCD should consult a doctor who can help guide them through rehabilitation. And there's one thing that I was guilty of even after I quit porn. It was porn substitutes. So people can use like dating platforms to find sexualized images, and if you're using dating platforms and you've got no real intention on meeting these girls, you're wasting your time, and you're just moving your porn addiction into just something else, into another form of procrastination. So get rid of that. Delete your dating apps if you're not actually going to meet anyone on them. I don't actually recommend dating apps at all, because I feel like it's a bit weird. It'd just been more normal and more natural to speak to people where people are, and that's pretty much everywhere. And by no means am I saying masturbation is bad. Me personally, I don't masturbate, but if you want to masturbate, you masturbate. You fap away, boy. You fap away. But make sure when you do it, make sure you are the active participant in the masturbation. Make sure you're not fantasizing about porn. You're not reusing the memories of porn. If you can't get off your own supply, it's not worth doing. But I would say, don't be fapping quite a lot, because you're still going to be lowering your testosterone, and you're going to be associating environments with the behaviour of masturbating, and you don't want to be feeling depleted all the time. The human connection is so much better. So get out there, start speaking to the opposite sex, or the same sex if that's your kind of thing. One of the most scary aspects of quitting porn is that some people suffer from the dreaded flatline. People who quit porn can sometimes find it hard going back into dating real people, being with real people. I struggled with this myself. When I quit porn, like, erectile dysfunction was an issue for, God, how long was it? Maybe 2 months, 3 months. It can go as long as, I think, people have written for, I think, 3 months, 4 months. It can even go as long as that, which is pretty insane. But when you go out and you start speaking to people that you're actually attracted to, your natural sexual urges will come back to life. Like, oh yeah, all right. And if you're still having issues with quitting porn, you can do what Olympic athletes do. Whenever you get an urge, you can make an action plan. So that action plan can be, when your trigger occurs, I will new routine, so make a new hobby, because it gives me the reward. Like an Olympic athlete, make it minute by minute. Visualize yourself acting on it on a minute by minute basis. This will really help with you actually overcoming your porn addiction, your porn tendencies. One thing I like about quitting porn is that quitting porn is like a historical reenactment, where you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to be living like everybody else has lived throughout the majority of human history. With no porn. Once you quit porn, you'll soon find out, as one ex-wanker wrote, I thought I was consuming lust, when all the time lust was consuming me. And we're going to finish this video with a quote by Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do.
Strike a match, light your cigarette. It's been 100 years and he's not dead yet. Built a home, thought he was set, with a life so dull for my granddad Joe. But he said when he comes around, I'll listen to the sound of the heartbeat in my head, cause it's got this coming knocking, and it's time I started packing, cause it won't be long before I'm dead.